What's the fastest way to ruin your life? Cocaine is God's way of telling you you're making too much money. From my experience as a forensic clinician, therapist that works in a jail court-mandated treatment, punching a cop is the quickest way to fuck your life up. Drugs are on the list. Having a child with a less than ideal person is going to suck. But punching a cop is nearly a 100% chance that your life will have drastic, immediate consequences. I've never known anyone to successfully punch a judge. That could be worse overall. But it's harder to set up. I'm a lawyer. Another well-respected lawyer in my jurisdiction was involved in an absolutely huge property settlement involving dozens upon dozens of deeds, side agreements, financial documents, yada yada yada. The whole lot, presumably involving literally 100 or so signatures, had been signed off by her client. In the early hours of the morning, having no doubt slaved away for untold hours getting everything ready for the settlement the next day, she must have realized that she had missed getting one signature on one minor document from her client, so she faked it. I can see the pressure she was under and how she probably thought, it doesn't matter. My client would have signed it anyway, and only didn't because they overlooked it. No one will ever notice. Someone noticed, and she went from high-paid property lawyer to never being able to practice again, just like that. People occasionally ask me to sign things off as a lawyer and suggest I overlook minor irregularities, such as wanting me to witness a signature even though I didn't actually see the signatory sign. Then they get all offended and act like I'm being a stick-up-the-ass perfectionist when I won't do it. Go viral for something everyone thinks is terrible. Like the guy who recorded himself harassing a Chick-fil-A employee years ago. He was the CFO of a small company making $200K a year in 2012 before. He uploaded the video one night, and by the next day he was fired from his job. He got several other jobs soon after, but got fired after they learned what he had done. Then he couldn't find another, had to go on food stamps, moved in with his in-laws, went on unemployment, wrote a book to try to make some money, and moved to Costa Rica to run a healing center. Apart from drugs, mismanaged credit. So many people I know could have fairly decent lives with their income, but instead are buried in credit card debt and bank loans. Many of them even have high incomes. Just one example. Family friend, university degree in chemistry, stable job, but drives a 1994 Cavalier in the worst conditions. Her brother died, and she got enough money to put a huge down payment into an apartment, 70 to 80%, and pay some major debts. Kept saying it was too small and ended up getting more debt and the money vanished. It is very easy to get crazy high limits on credit cards, but too many people treat them like free money. To anyone who may stumble across this thread, having a kid together is not a good reason to stay in a bad relationship. My life, and that of my child, improved exponentially the moment my ex and I broke up. Even considering the family court bills, stress of being a single parent, and the drama accompanying any breakup and exacerbated by being parents, it was 100% worth it. And if needed, I would go through it again. Don't stay in a bad relationship for the kids. Please, everyone will be happier if you split up. From personal experience, becoming disabled only took 3 months for me. It's different when you grow up disabled compared to when it happens at 18. I was a construction worker making good money. I was just about to age out of foster care, and then I hurt my back. I hadn't worked in 7 years until this September. The amount of pain I'm in without meds, and the meds I take is insane. 40 mg of dilaudid 3x daily now. I wasn't living with mom and dad when this happened. My dad is abusive, and my mom was in another province. You see, since you were 8, you knew what struggles were going to have and what you were going to have to overcome. You probably had the help of your parents, which I'm not making fun of you for at all, just saying that's something I never had. The healthcare system all but ignored me until the last year. I had expectations of what my life was going to be. I had already overcome 7 diagnosed mental illnesses, including autism and bipolar disorder. I wanted to work, have a career, and I was 6 years into that career when it happened. I lost my ability to work and my financial freedom, had to go on disability benefits. Honestly, if I were given a choice, I would rather have it happen to me when I was young enough to adapt, instead of the injury stealing 7 years of my adult life to adapt. I had a bad reaction to a drug and it ruined my eyesight overnight. Thankfully, it has recovered a bit, and there is surgery I can get that will improve it. But the downside is that I can completely lose my eyesight if there's issues, so here I am. For a good 2 months, I was in the worst point of my life, and I never want to go back there. I can't imagine how it would have been if I didn't recover somewhat. Disablement is definitely top of the list of life ruiners. I broke dislocated both of my arms. Separate incidences. Took me 8 months to ruin my life. And I had been to prison, and even that did no ruin my life. Non-dominant arm healed perfectly. The dominant arm did not. Square arm does not go in a round shoulder. Sounds like a tin can with rocks in it when I move it. Tons of nerve damage. Can't even enjoy video games, let alone much else in life. Having offspring while very young, while also poor, broke with a partner who is abusive and also poor, broke. You'd think this sort of very specific situation would be rare, but sadly it is very, very common. Since drugs take more than 2 seconds to ruin your life, and given how even prisoners treat them, I'd say the quickest way to ruin your life would be to make a massive public announcement that you're a child molester. Because whether it's true or not, some people will latch onto it. It will always be there when employers check your history. It will always be there even if you never get arrested, and even if you show absolute candor and transparency to investigators. It's been witnessed in YouTubers who have admitted to grooming underage fans. Even those who have been falsely accused. It's one of the most abhorrent behaviors humanity is capable of. And it will absolutely ruin your life because within moments, your family will begin posting about it. It's actually kind of scary to think about, but it could potentially ruin anyone's life irreparably within moments. Getting someone pregnant at a young age. My life is vastly different now just from one evening. For me, I never wanted kids, not even a little bit. So despite having a child and loving them with all of my being, it completely derailed my trajectory. Factor in today's high cost of living and how much kids cost? Yeah. She's a good kid, though, and I'm a glass half full kind of guy. But holy hell, listen to me and just wear a hat, boys. Responding with anger to escalate a situation. Maybe you take a swing at a guy you shouldn't. Maybe you decide to teach a lesson to a guy who cut you off on the freeway. Maybe you send that email and hit reply all. Maybe you tell a cop to fuck off. But the fastest way to take your life from okay to shit is to respond to a situation with anger. OP said fastest, and people don't seem to be taking that seriously. You can download Robinhood, connect your bank account, and put your entire life savings on a 1-day to expiry option all before getting out of bed this morning. I worked at a very big tech company where one highly paid exec in the span of 1 year bought a house that's right on the edge of a cliff, spent a fortune stopping the house from falling off the cliff, cheated on his wife who divorced him and took everything. The woman he had an affair with was one of his co-workers who was also married with kids. Between this and some work gaffes, he was fired. The dude probably had an 8-digit net worth before, and rumor mill was he was borderline bankrupt after this. Driving is a quick way, and by that I mean reckless driving or drunk driving, or even falling asleep and driving. It's something most people do every day. But one mistake can ruin your life. Fall asleep one time near a school zone and kill a kid. Then you're in prison. Even if you have never broke a law before that. Picking the wrong partner. This is a pretty slow way to ruin your life compared to, say, falling asleep while driving through a school zone. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and click the bell icon next to the subscribe button to be notified of our next upload. Thanks for watching.